What's good, superstars? Back with another VV video. You got Superstar Joe. You got Superstar the Real Randy Chavez in the house. Heavy hitters. Heavy. He's got the cat claws off. Oh man, I didn't see that coming. He's got scratches all over me now, but I think you win that one. Thank you so much for coming on the channel, Randy, and filling in for Rob while he's on his honeymoon in Italy. Really appreciate it. Yesterday we had Taps on, one of your good friends, so now it's nice to hear your side and maybe how your stories compare. Ask you some similar questions that we asked him, but again, really appreciate you coming on the channel.
Yeah, of course. It was a lot of fun. I saw it was like an hour with Taps yesterday, which is great. I haven't watched it yet. Love him. I always love rooming with him. Everyone say hello to Dachi. Hello, Dachi.
There you go. Congrats on the new place, on the new bed. I mean, you're all set up now. You're ready to go. You're ready to go for a longer stream now, I think, eh? After this, right? Yes. Much more comfortable, it looks like. So we're all looking forward to the next one. I mean, if you guys don't know, Randy threw, I think, like a 33-hour stream a couple of weeks back.
Yeah, it was back in August. It was originally I just wanted to kind of match the original 16-hour stream that I did. Having David on there at some point, and I had a lot more people on. I had VeVe Fan Bam and Wet Wizard on for a while as well, and they're like, oh, let's just beat it. You can't just match it. You got to beat it. Let's go 18, 20 hours, and yeah, we did 24 hours, and we just kept going. So we did more than double. We did 33 hours, and we decided that on October 20th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to start a 69-hour stream. Everyone comment nice down below for the 69. And we will finish on the 23rd of October at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Wow. That's wild. So I'm sure a lot of people will come out and help for that one. I mean, that was the greatest part of that stream, is seeing everybody from all over the community come through and support you and do that type of stuff. I mean, we were trying to jump. Our schedules weren't lining up. Me and Rob wanted to come on at the same time, but it was like it would have been one or the other. I mean, next time if it doesn't work, we're just going to come on and say what's up.
You have 3 days. You have 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days. No excuse. If David, you can find time, we can find time to come in. Right? But that's amazing. And like, that's kind of the whole point of this, what we're trying to do here. I mean, we're having special guests on every day for the last 21 whatever days. It's because we want to spread the love and show off the rest of the community and kind of give a little bit of spotlight. I mean, we've got the heavy hitters here at the MU Taps, but I mean, we've had some smaller creators on that maybe people haven't found, and we want those feelers to get spread so that YouTube algorithm will do its wonders and spread and let those people recognize it. And I know that, I don't know if you know, but you were one of the first VV YouTubers to comment on our channel and talk to us in the comments that way. So like, we really appreciated that. It gave us motivation, and I hope that we do the same thing for some of these newer YouTubers. So that's a fun part. Now it's time for some plugs. We know everyone loves that, but if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, become a superstar, get that bell notification on. You never know when we're going to have Alligator Loki, leader of the pack, on the channel again. It might happen. You want to make sure that you got the bell notification on for Randy, because he's doing these crazy streams. He kind of gave you the dates there already. You can also join the VIP. You get some nice badges. We got some spreadsheets to help you calculate some probabilities and stuff. We do giveaways. We got Disney Minute Brand giveaways that we do every once in a while, and we're naming a star in the universe after one of you guys end of the month. So we already got a couple of them, and we're just going to add to the constellation. Shout out to the VIP members. I just got to give them their props. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. On Twitter, you'll find our VV link, and in the description, you'll find Discord and our PO box if you want to send over any fun goods. I also have to give a huge props to Randy. Here is his channel, The Real Randy Chavez, and I'm sure 99% of you guys are subscribed there. I mean, if you hear the word VV, a lot of the time you think Randy, or if you hear the word Randy, you think VV. He's like synonymous, right? So he's the #1 cheerleader for these guys. I mean, he's been spreading the word of VV as long as I've been around on the app, and you definitely have to go subscribe. He's doing dailies. He's doing multiple per day. I don't know. We do one per day, and we're worn out. I mean, I can only imagine the amount of efforts that you've been putting in, and we're going to get into your whole journey, your whole story. But why don't you let the people know about how you got started in VeVe, OMI, what made you decide to do the YouTube, all that good stuff.
So the getting started in the YouTube was a bit different. Like I did YouTube first, and then I kind of found OMI by accident. And it was, I had this very big nerd side of like Pokemon. You see the Pokemon tattoo, very, very big fan. And there was this website called E4. It's still around, short for Elite Four. That's, the main kind of guys that boss fight that you have in Pokemon. And they were for people that were for collectors. And I get these Pokemon cards that I really, really liked. seeing what they would sell for, like first edition, PSA 10, like that's the best cards of the originals that everyone loved. And it's kind of like Reddit, it's kind of like Discord, like there's sections for people that want to buy things, there's people that want to trade, there's people, everything. And one thing was market discussion. And like once every 6 weeks, there was this company called PWCC, which had an agreement with eBay, the giant auction house, saying, hey, we're going to put a bunch of our auctions on eBay on your site. And if you had a smaller eBay channel and you could only reach a certain amount of people that were only searching for certain keywords, you probably wouldn't get as much as if you would go to an auction house. So the auction house is really meant for the bigger stuff, but some smaller stuff as well. It just reaches a larger audience. And at the end of their auctions, which were like 7 to 10 days, there were hundreds of the sales data. So I'm going and posting everything. What do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about this? And they didn't say anything, but I kind of found like, oh, all right. I feel like people are commenting on like every fourth one that I post. I feel like I might be blowing this up here. So let me talk about it on YouTube. So I started that. And then at the same time, I was really into Tesla, and I really started covering Tesla a lot. So that's really something that I had gone on and put a lot of money into. And then I got into Earth 2 in December of 2020. Earth 2 is a metaverse. That's like my first intro into the metaverse. They partnered with Mapbox. It's actually the only thing I didn't sell. I sold all my Tesla, sold all my Pokemon cards for OMI. I did not sell any Earth 2 for that. So that their crypto, which they're another project that also delayed going on exchanges the same way OMI has, because it's a bear market. So just kind of proved, hey, another metaverse worth hundreds of millions or billions of dollars that is also delaying. That the CEO Shane Isaac had teased that their crypto was going to be on GoChain in like early 2021. So it's like, okay, let me look on GoChain for a whole lot of supply of a certain crypto. Maybe it's really low market cap. And I found OMI. I was like, okay, this is interesting. It's got a really large supply, 750 billion. And at that time, I didn't understand, the reserve and circulating supply and all that. And it was like, okay, this kind of makes sense. It's a fraction of a cent, or it might have been like 1 penny at that time. And then I go and I find out, oh, it's connected to this VeVe. I think one of the first people to do a video on this was Earth 2 Mastery. He was one of the original OG VeVe YouTubers with me, Taps, and Cavell, and Orion Crypto Trader. And you can tell by his name, Earth 2 Mastery, that he has, a vested interest in Earth 2. I was like, is this the token we're using? And it's like, no, it's connected to this VeVe app. I just thought this was a really good investment. I really, really liked it. It's like, okay, let me go into it. And then I found, I found the team, and then I found Alfred Arcon as head of licensing. And I knew what NFTs were kind of because of NBA Top Shot. I just knew about it. I kind of wanted to invest in it. I just never did. And then I was like, oh, I called my friend Dan, who's like one of my business partners, like a brother of mine. I was like, just sell the house, sell everything, and just put it all into OMI. And he's like, I don't understand what it is. And I was super excited. I was like, there's a finite amount. It burns. It's deflationary. The head of licensing is an absolute legend. Nobody knows what this is. Like even still, people in Pokemon have zero idea like that this is going on. So this is still one of my favorite belongs. This is still one of my favorite investments. So that's kind of how I got into it. Of course, I started covering it, and now that's kind of my main thing.
Yeah, and like honestly, there's never a shortage of content with Randy. So you got to definitely go check out his channel. I know a lot of you already have. And it's incredible. I mean, he covers different topics. He does daily news. He goes to the cons. He's interviewing random people all the time. Like you bring a different dynamic, and obviously the teams recognize that David's been on your channel a couple times now to have that chat. So it's awesome. You spoke a little bit about the team there. It's awesome to see that they've been getting involved with the YouTube community. I mean, I feel like they understand that we get a lot of comments or a lot of people asking questions that maybe we're not able to answer. So by them showing their face on the channel, we can always ask them directly. And you've had some great success getting in those good questions. I mean, the first time I think that David went on your channel, you had no idea. Like I guess both times you didn't, but the first time was like impromptu, and you delivered on that interview. So that was awesome to see. You have all the questions ready in the back, ready to go.
Oh,
And
I did not have all the questions right. I was literally I was on Lucy. I was on psychedelics. I was drunk, and I was just like, no heckin' way.
nobody realized, like, if you watch that interview back, I mean, you kept going, you had one after the other, so it was really awesome that you were able to follow through. I mean,
Yeah.
I would be nervous. So
Oh, I was. I was literally like right. I get the email that he's coming on. I was like, oh, so I take some Tesla tequila. I poured it in a cup. Like, oh, I down that really quickly.
just calm the
But
nerves.
yeah, I love that there's news every single day. You can see yesterday on my page, I did a 19-minute video in the morning, and there was enough content for me to have a 5-hour stream later that day. Obviously I had some help. I had, VeVe Fambam and Eva from University and a bunch of people on there. So,
No, yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's cool. And you're right. The news is there every day. People ask, how do you put a video out every day? Or like, it's easy. I mean, and on top of that, you get people leaving comments that give you ideas and you think about it. So the whole community like bands together and helps with the videos. I mean, it's a good time. So let's go through the Twitter news. Speaking of news, VeVe puts out this thing today about who's ready to rumble, and they're doing a contest, which is kind of like really cool. I remember they've done some contests in the past, but this one is introducing the VeVe Rumble contest. Create an exciting fight scene using VeVe Collectibles. Submit and vote for your favorites to decide the top 3, and the grand prize will be decided by David Yu. It also has a bit.ly link. You click it, and it gives you kind of a little bit more detail when the voting starts, ends, and the prizes. So the prizes are some of these decon items that we've had in the past, it looks like. Pretty cool, and it's awesome that they're starting to get collectibles involved, and they have some examples here. I guess so. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that one's funny.
I can't wait for some, like, there's already, I think, Metaverse Life or Meta Life, that guy. Yeah, so many amazing things.
They're saying you can't do any post-production, so he might have to go back to the drawing board on this one. But yeah, so that seems like it'll be a fun time. So hopefully one of you guys is able to win one of those prizes. Shout out VeVe Fox putting up an update for the Disney promo codes. 63% of the 10,000 promo codes have been redeemed as of Tuesday. I mean, I think Friday is the last day, and then we'll have an idea of the final supply. So that's cool. Did you ever go for this drop, Randy, or no?
No, I had one. I had a promo code because I had the lamp. But I just decided to do a giveaway on my channel. That one, VeVe Viral gave me one, and then Dancing Need Arena gave me one for like the next night. So I just had a bunch of giveaways, which is cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So make sure you're following him on Twitter too, so you know when he's doing like crazy giveaways like that. That's fun. Yeah. So then we just retweeted this. I said, does the Superstar Money intro count as a fighting scene? Nobody replied to it yet, but I'd be curious to see. I don't know if you saw this on Twitter. I know you're all over Twitter, but there's like some kind of AR game where you can use your phone as a controller. And
is that JJ the jet plane?
I don't know what kind of.
Do you remember that from when we were kids?
Yeah, like little cartoon or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's just like a generic propeller plane.
It looks like a face that's on the. Or am I just seeing things? It just looks like a face that's on there.
It's hard to tell. It's small for me even to see, but it's using a Bluetooth controller that works with augmented reality. So the fact that they can now connect augmented reality to your phone as like a controller, it's just even more bullish for the space. I mean, the more that we see done outside of VeVe is going to kind of lay that blueprint that says like, look, this can be done, and we know the minds at VeVe are smart guys, and they could figure out a way to start to implement this stuff as soon as it's mainstream. So really bullish. I mean, imagine like the glider or like some of these other, like even the DeLorean, these cars, like we know that they're drivable now, but just like the airplanes and stuff, that would be cool. This is another one I found, I think, because I like that post. I got this recommended to me, but it's just like she's vacuuming and she's like dodging these collectibles or not collectibles, but like AR items. So just more AR integration in the home, and I guess these stars kind of lay out her perimeter. So it's just like we're starting to see it more and more every single day, and we're having more and more of these videos that we're reviewing on the channel. So it's just bullish for the space.
Making vacuuming fun. Did you see the thing that Shop put out? That Shopify, it's like, hey, here's glasses. Let's make this wallpaper like bananas or corn or whatever. It's absolutely insane. Yeah, it's wild.
I'll have to look that up at some point. But shout out to Rob. I mean, he's not with us, but he is with us. He's posting things from Italy. He saw the Big Dipper. I think this is the Big Dipper right here. while he was in Italy. He's like,
Wow.
gazing up upon the night sky will never be the same because some superstar VIP have a chance to win our monthly star naming giveaway. Maybe you'll join Superstar Mo, Superstar Reese, Superstar Kobe, and Superstar VeVe Hart in the Superstar constellation. I think Kobe's got this star right here on the bottom of the Big Dipper. So fun giveaways. I mean, that's what the best part of the fan is. Like Randy just talked about, he's doing giveaways of promo codes for that, or he did them already for the Mickey Mouse. I mean, it's just that's another fun part. They got rid of transfers, but everybody's finding new ways to have a little bit of fun. So that's a really fun part of VeVe. So I wanted to bring up the first video where we interacted, and I think you probably remember, but we did a video called, look at my hair there. Wow. VeVe cults are forming, and in the comments, you'll see the real Randy Chavez. 8 months ago, I am part of the Alligator Loki cult. I don't know if you remember that comment, but
yeah, it sounds like something I would totally say.
Yeah, so it was like a first interaction that we had with you, and it made us be like, yo, you know what, this community is fun. They're willing, like you're willing to chat with the rest of the people talking about the project. So I guess the question that comes to mind now, I'm sure you've talked about it before at some point, but why the Alligator Loki obsession? What happened? How did it start? How many do you got now? And I know you had some subscription base with it, but what's the total at?
So the secret rare I have 18, the ultra rare I have 34, and I have 198 of the common.
Oh my
so
goodness.
There's I went a little overzealous with it. I like it. One, I love animals. As close as I can. If I want, one of my main things in life is to be like the brown Steve Irwin, and I feel like that would have been a really good digital footprint. Be like, okay, I have all the alligators here, have all the Alligator Lokis, some of the way he had Crocs, and I also like the secret rares because that still to this day I think is the scarcest or the rarest Marvel secret rare that were to come out. We have, I think, Disney secret rares that might be below that, but yeah, every other Marvel character, the secret rares are, I think, 1,000.
Wow.
And that one's only 800. So I think there's 30%, like 30% of the supply that is locked up. That is with me and like five other whales. Like there's no DAO yet. It's just so I thought like, okay, if you take someone like, let's say people off 4chan that are like really, really like awful people sometimes, and they just want to watch the world burn. We are going to be able to burn our NFTs. David had teased that, I think, at DCon in London. What's to stop someone from just trolling and being like, okay, here's a really popular character from Loki. I think IGN had, like early this year or late last year, IGN had asked everyone on Instagram, who's your favorite Loki, like your favorite variant from the Loki series. I think like 85% of people were just commenting those alligator emojis. And I was like, best Loki. And there's a guy called Emergency Awesome on YouTube that's got a couple million subscribers that deemed Alligator Loki the superior Loki. Like that's the best one. So really a lot going for it. And that's, I thought it was really subject to manipulation, to burning. And I thought, okay, this could be really good. So I've still never sold any of them. I do think that I might burn some if you're able to get, a super ultra secret rare. I don't know. But that was I was also pretty swifty one night I had Mr. Pagliuca on, Mr. Pags, and he's, I just sold a bunch of stuff, and he's like, yeah, I'll get some Lokis. It's like, and then I looked at it, I was like, oh yeah, these are pretty good. And then I just kind of went from there.
So that was the beginning when Pags on. Oh, awesome. Yeah. So I saw some footage from when you went on vacation and you put them all in AR. I tagged you. You went in, but here's all Randy's Alligator Lokis in case you guys didn't see this. But when I saw this, I was like, I got to tag Randy. and I thought that was hilarious.
I love it when people tag me and stuff like that. Or like, hey, I thought of you. It's like, oh, it's so nice. And then it's also very funny.
No, yeah. I mean, it had me cracking up. So no, that's a great answer for why you have all the Alligator Loki. Now we know also not only do you have a lot of Alligator Loki, you have a lot of OMI that you talk about on a regular basis. Maybe I know you've talked about it on your channel, but maybe for our viewers, why OMI over collectibles? I know you got some collectibles, but why such a disparity in the numbers?
I think that I should say first that when crypto to gem comes, they did not specify that it would be OMI to gem. They just said crypto to gem. So it could be, Ethereum, could be USD, like whatever it is. I expect collectibles to pump first. But already most of my stuff is in OMI, and that is short term. That is like short to mid term over the next 6 months, whatever. But as we start to burn, I suspect that OMI will outperform 99% of the collectibles that we have, if not like 99.5 or 0.8% more, just because there are some collectibles that are only as big as their fandom. Doesn't matter what fandom you're a part of, you're probably going to be using OMI. And even if you don't think you are, you still probably are. Even if you pay for it with Ethereum, I think that they might have something in the background that says, okay, you're using Ethereum, but in the background, it's going to convert to OMI, and then you're going to do that. I don't know exactly what that would be, if that's something that Wire has to, maybe that's why we partner with Wire to introduce with them, or if they have to have banking regulations. All I know is from the conversations I've had with Dan and David, that they are looking at taking over the world, and this is, I have Kripkins. I don't think Kripkins are a great long term. I mean, they'll go up as their season one, but I have Kripkins, I have Disney. I have a lot of different NFTs on there just because I like them. But if I'm going to try to be cold and calculating, and what is the best way to win, I think OMI. A lot of these collectibles do a 10x from here. Some will do a 20x. OMI to do a 100x. That is 13 cents. That I think happens before 2026. I think we do a lot more than that. So,
right.
Yeah.
That's a cool answer. I mean, I really like the part where you mentioned how each IP has its own limitations on fandom. I mean, there could be a lot of Disney fans, but OMI runs the whole thing. Like it's integrated into the entire environment. And when this thing moves and people start to recognize and we get mainstream, it doesn't matter if you like Marvel, if you like Disney, if you like DC, whatever it is, you're gonna understand that OMI is the engine that's burning it. So I like the answer. I always wanted to pick up a little bit more OMI, and the more that I'm having these guests on, I mean, everybody's giving me more and more reason to. And I'm not married to any of my collectibles, so maybe that's a move that I make in the near term here. But no, really cool answer. Now, speaking of OMI, there was a little talk that Reese gave with Collective Shift IO. I wasn't able to watch it. I was trying to pick Tap's brain about it yesterday. He didn't watch it. I jumped on, or listen, sorry, it was a Spaces. I jumped on at the end and I heard Reese mention something about golden tickets, Willy Wonka style. Now, do you know a little bit more about that? Can you explain it to the fam what he talked about and maybe what you expect it to be?
So I'll say what we know, and then what I'll speculate. What we know is that there's going to be 3 types of tickets. There's going to be bronze, silver, and gold. Puddin' Cheeks he had suggested, not confirmed, he suggested that maybe the bronze tickets you don't need to stake for, which we could assume that the silver and gold, in order to get those tickets, you probably will need to stake for. I don't know if there are only 2 tiers of staking. I would imagine there's multiple, and maybe the top 2 tiers are the silver and gold. Last we had heard that there would be a $50,000 staking tier. Obviously, a lot of things have changed. I'm hoping it goes higher, so like 100,000. But there's a chance that they say, hey, we want to really get everyone we can, so maybe they pull it down to 25,000. So I want to say anywhere between 25,000 and 100,000 is going to be the highest staking tier. I know it's really long; it could be anywhere in between. But when you have that, it's like that's their way to get around being a security. Did you ever watch Zoe 101 when you were younger?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how in one episode, Logan says he's trying to help Chase get elected as student body president, and he's giving away Chase bucks. It's like, hey, vote for Chase. Here's some Chase bucks. And so it's like, you can't do that. You can't give away money. That's illegal. He's like, you're right, but we're not giving away money. We're giving away Chase bucks, which are redeemable at any school store.
Yeah.
So I instead of just being able to wager your OMI and being gambling and being whatever, you're not wagering your OMI. You're using your OMI to buy these tickets, And then that's those tickets that you're using for the OUP, so that you can sacrifice your tickets or bid a certain amount of tickets in order to get, let's say 30%. Let's say 33% goes to people in the queue, and you just do drops like normal. 33% go to MCP that are waging their MCP points, and the other 33% might go to this. Maybe you have to wager a certain amount of bronze tickets. Maybe the bronze tickets you don't have to stake for, but you still have to buy. Let's say it's $1 worth of OMI per ticket, and you know that if there's a $100 collectible that's probably going to go for $600, then you could safely wager $200 worth of tickets, and if you get it, okay, you could sell it and still walk away with a $250 profit after taxes, after cash out, whatever. And so what Kay had mentioned, I don't know if he knew or if this was mentioned on that, but Kay had said that 10% of everything that you bid, even if you don't get it, is going to get burned. Yeah. That blew my heckin' mind. So I think this really incentivizes people to stake, to lock up their OMI. I think it incentivizes people to bid, because people, Wet Wizard VeVe was one of the first podcasts he was on, or one of the first interviews that he did was on mine, and he had said that he had sold a number like 45 Spider-Man and a number 41 Mother's Day stamp, or the Day of the Dead stamp, for like 100,000 gems. And so this is like, peak bull market, and he's very, very smart. He knows exactly, he knows how to handle money, and he could not keep it. He's like, I wanted to like save, but then I just started buying this and I started buying that. What happens as soon as most normal people get a windfall of money? They go and they spend it. What can I buy? What can I spend? I mean, some people invest, but a lot of people are like, what can I buy? When you have a bunch of people like myself and Mr. Pagliuca, or even Dr. Profit, Puddin' Cheeks, fucking watching, and OMI right now has no use case, no utility. You can't use it on anything. But suddenly, when we have hundreds of millions or billions of OMI, and we can use that to buy things, it's going to be very, very hard for a lot of us to go and not spend it. So I think, especially gambling, so that's what I'm very, very excited about. I told a bunch of my whales about that, and they put in a couple of my orders. So there's a lot. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I mean, and when we had our conversation with Puddin' Cheeks, I remember he mentioned something about how back in the day, early days, there was that OMI to NFT, and he had to kind of, instead of just buying something on VeVe, he had to look at the charts and see where OMI was, and you're paying attention to two charts at once. So that's kind of a crazy dynamic to have just in itself. But like you mentioned, a lot of people sitting on some OMI with no use case. Once it does get that use case, where's it going to go? Are people going to spend it? Are they going to stake it? Now, for the people who aren't familiar with staking, who are here, I mean, does that mean that you're just going to spend OMI to buy a ticket, or does that mean that you're going to like put your OMI in a holding or in a reserve and then you get it back after a certain amount of time? How does that work?
So again, as speculation, we don't know how long it's going to have to be locked up for. We don't know what the rewards are. Now, they could just say, let's say the bronze tickets, are anyone can buy, so it's just like a chance. But let's say the silver and gold are these top tier stuff. Let's say silver, you get a guaranteed collectible. It's a random mint number. And let's say you get that once a month. And a gold, let's say you also get once a month. And a gold is not just you get guaranteed a collectible, but you get guaranteed a sub 1,000 mint or a sub whatever mint. And they can do that so long as there's only a certain amount of people there. That incentivizes people to keep locking up their OMI, because the amount of OMI that they have, the price doesn't really matter, because if they take that OMI away and they sell it, they're losing that guaranteed collectible spot. And I don't know if those tickets will ever expire, but if it were me, I would skip most of the drops, and I would hope, I would do this on a chance that we have Pokemon. And if we do wind up getting that at some point, or we could have it right, I don't know, pure speculation, then I would use all 10 tickets on like the first Pokemon thing ever. But I mean, it doesn't have to be for that. It could be for Lord of the Rings, it could be for Rocky. Typically, you can have your stuff staked for X amount of time, and there's a penalty for, that's the other thing. A lot of times there's a penalty for unstaking. if they say the penalty for unstaking is whatever it is, 5-10%, whatever, and then they burn that unstake all you want, let it burn.
Yeah.
But I don't know what other things. I mean, if there is a $50,000 staking tier, let's say they don't change it, you're going to have to provide probably more than a free collectible each month to have that. I'm really hoping for something for land, or something where if you stake it for a year, then you get an extra 5 or 10 tickets, whatever.
Yeah.
Again, this is all speculation at this point.
No, but that's the fun part about the whole YouTube and this this game that we're in. I mean, so when you say that Kay mentioned the 90% and then 10% burn, I know they do that for MCP. It's in the MCP article. I guess I'm assuming that'll stay relatively close to what we see. Did he mention that's the same type of thing for OUP? Like he thinks that it will be.
Yeah, I have the screenshot. I think it was him and Cavell Anderson were talking about it.
Okay.
Or maybe it's I was confused because Kay has Cavell Anderson as his
profile picture. Yeah, I saw that.
So maybe that's why I'm remembering him saying that. Yeah. I don't know if I could find it now, but okay. I did totally have that screenshot where he did say something similar to that. I'll probably send it to you if I can find it later. Yeah,
send it, or even whatever, we can retweet it, or I'm sure you talked about in your video. They can go check out your stuff as well. That's fine. So I'll move on. The next question is, I know that you've been a big proponent of attending the in-person events. You've been at a bunch of them. I actually lived through San Diego Comic-Con through your lens. That's how I got to see what it was about. And I know a lot of other people did that as well. I asked Taps the same question because I know that he attends a lot of them as well. How have you seen the cons over time? I don't know how many you've been to, if you've been to them all or whatever, but have you seen them growing, like the user base growing as you move on, or have you seen it like up and down depending on what type of con? Like a Comic-Con have more people? Like from Taps's perspective, I got one answer. I know you haven't watched it yet, so I want to hear your answer and then see if they match.
So if we're just specifically talking VeVe, DesignerCon was about what I expect. I knew it was a little more niche, and it was just for really collectors and these artists that fill this certain hole. And there was a good amount of VeVe peeps that really inculcated a bit more confidence in me, and especially the niceness of everyone buying me beer and just be like, "Hey, you got to like, okay." Apparently, the one in London was so much. So the actual con itself in DesignerCon in Anaheim, the con itself, the space was bigger than the space in London DCon, but the amount of people that were there for VeVe was a lot bigger in London because so again, it was like 10 or 9 months after the fact. There was a large amount of people in San Diego Comic-Con, so it has been growing. It has been, despite bear market really crushing everyone. So there's been a upward trajectory in the place to which I like to go, and I know for a fact that there is going to be more people in Anaheim in November than there were in London. So
the people are willing to spend some money to travel to these things. I mean, to me, and this is the same conclusion we came to with Taps because he was in London. I know we basically are realizing like the core user base is still growing despite the bear market. We might lose a little bit of the fringe people who might be here just to make a quick buck. But that core user base, when people are willing to dish out money to go travel to meet the team, to meet the other community members, that's why I asked that question. I want to see like, are we noticing growth? You've been to all of them or a lot of them. How did you notice? So you gave basically the same answers as Taps did without having seen his answer. So to me, really bullish signs that the core user base is growing. Next question, kind of related to community and meeting people. You do a lot of interviews, sometimes impromptu with random strangers on the street. And I know when you went to Comic-Con, you did interview a bunch of comic book people. I don't know how much you talked to them off camera, but from what I saw and I noticed on your on-camera interviews, a lot of them were very, very hesitant when it came to VeVe, and I think it's because these guys invest a lot of money to build up their physical collection, and now we have some kind of competition, even though we had a conversation with Sleeping a couple of days ago, and we kind of thought maybe it's bringing people into physical collectibles that never had them before, and it's kind of good for these guys. Did you have any other conversations that maybe we didn't see on camera that were more like where comic book collectors were kind of curious about it, or was the overall general sentiment behind physical comic book collectors the same?
It's relatively the same. I mean, there are ones that I from what I've noticed, and I'm not as deep into it as like Sleepin or comics and crypto, but from what I have noticed as time has gone on, the people that I talk to are less angry about NFTs. Like at first they were like relatively hostil, thought that they were like ripoffs and that it was a scam and it was really bad for the community. And now it's kind of changed more towards people that are just saying, it's just not my thing. They like, and I understand 100%. I would much rather read a comic like in my hands and physically, like that's just what I prefer. So, like over the last 10 years, when I see kids in comic book shops that are getting the comic, they're buying the physical comic just to scan the QR code, just so they could read it on their phones. It's like, I could understand if you didn't have access to the physical comic book and you do that online, sure. But you have it, and the next generation is choosing to read it on their phones. And the boomer in me doesn't understand that. But I understand enough where that, okay, this is where it's going. This is how people are going to collect. And, the people that have been entrenched in this for so long, they'll have a little resistance. But I think over the next 10 years, some people that maybe don't care about the money, they just care about the art, they just care about the history about it, they still won't. But the people that are saying like, oh, actually, I can get some of these best stuff, especially if they look at the physical TODs are like $800 maybe. At one point you had the digital TODs outpaced by like 14x, and it's happening inversely for the comic books. The physical comic books are still like 100x. Some of these big ones. That's got to even out at some point.
Yeah, you got at least come closer. No, but yeah, you're right. The screen time of this new generation, I didn't think of that. The new generation is all about that screen time. And it's funny. They buy the comic book. You said they scan the QR code and they read it on their phone. I mean, why even go into the comic book shop now? I mean, you see it. People sitting at home ordering things on Amazon. The pandemic did wonders for the digital world, the online world. So I think that is definitely a contributing factor of what will bring maybe real life comic book enthusiasts into the app. It's a different way to look at it. Okay, back into VeVe in general, OMI. When do you see? I know we got macroeconomic conditions. What has to happen for us to have another bull run? Obviously, it's going to be complete speculation, whatever you answer here. But what do you think? Everyone has their thoughts. What do you think it has to come? Can VeVe even control it, or do you need to have interest rates come down? What do you think?
I mean, Powell spoke today and he mentioned the housing market correction multiple times. And if you take a look at the federal fund on the interest rates, you're going to have hikes in November, December, and February. And, with kind of no end in sight, you're looking at about a 7% interest rates on mortgages, which we haven't had since 2007, right before the financial crisis. And that, if you just take on like going at the charts, they're like, okay, well, Bitcoin just needs to capitulate first, go down to like, 12, 13K, and then, we can start recovery. And then there's some people that say that, well, in December, BlackRock is, that has that, out of their $10 trillion, $1 trillion of it, will be available for people to invest in crypto if they want to. And if a large percent of people do that, and, that could start the next bull run. But it's anyone's guess. I mean, whatever the U.S. decides to try to do for midterm elections, I don't know how many people are up for re-election, whether it be in the House or in the Senate. But then you have stuff coming on for, that elections after that in January starts the election cycle for 2024. It's like, okay, at that point, I don't really know if it matters, because then you have the 2024 Bitcoin halving. Mm-hmm. Bitcoin and crypto in general has never had a winter that was in conjunction with the recession, and a deep one that we haven't had we had that K-shaped recovery in 2020 when things went down, then kind of right back up. But that's not something that I think seems to be happening here right now. It could be a very slow bleed. It's anyone's guess. I don't know.
Yeah. No, it sounds like you're of the same thinking as us, that this is a little bit more tied to macroeconomics than we would all hope. I do think some of these things that will come out, like MCP, OUP, might help just the project in general to stay afloat, and obviously keep interest. The rankings and the leaderboards and the staking tiers and all that, I think, will help to keep the core intact. And like we said, we've seen people going to the cons growing, so there is increasing user base and diehards and people who are really interested. So despite everything negative going on in the world, I mean, the project is surviving. I know you do a great job comparing OMI to Bitcoin and Ethereum and other markets at the beginning of most of your videos. So that's a really good tidbit. When you watch Randy's videos, you should really pay attention to that, because he's not just saying it for no reason. He's letting you guys know, like, look, we're not completely tied to the macroeconomic yet, and things could still do well. So
we outperform a lot. We outperform like 80% of the time. And even with all this, it's not like OMI. I would hope that OMI would stay down for another 16 months, but that's not going to happen. We'll shoot up like a mother flapper next year. In the next 6 to 12 months, we're probably 8 to 10x.
I love Randy's alternate language for all bad words. It's the best, because then I end up saying them and people are like, why are you talking like that? but no. Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. So we mentioned how you've been like having impromptu interviews of people at cons, like even in the streets after the con or whatever, wherever you are. Have you ever, like, I know I'm sure I know your answer, but do you think VeVe will ever use creators as ambassadors? Do you think it's a good idea? Why do you think it might be a good idea?
They said they would, and I'll give you like a good case and a bad case for it. Like if I were VeVe, I would be sending Sleep and Comics and Taps Trades and maybe like 1 or 2 other people to every single event that VeVe's at and that VeVe's not at. Like I would have sent them to VCon. I would have sent them to NFT NYC, and just to actually be an ambassador. Like, hey, can't pay much, but here's your ticket, here's your hotel, and maybe get a little bit, just because that type of realness of those people that have that knowledge of what we specialize in is just invaluable. So that's what I would do. I would hand select a couple of those people like that. Maybe I would put myself on that team if I had, just to kind of round it out, and also because but I should probably also bring like a girl or 2 on there as well, because if you just put like a team of dudes out there, girls might be like, so I would probably rather have maybe like Wendy Spallis or Eva from University, just kind of round it out, but I would say one of the bad things is that you're going to get some creators out there that are going to come on, and maybe they'll be attractive because they have hundreds of thousands or even million subscribers, but they don't know the project as intimately. But VeVe's be like, okay, well, we'll go with these guys, which again, the pros and cons of both. Or you're just going to have some people that, just kind of use them, and they just, maybe they don't, they're not walking around the con. Maybe they're just saying they are. They take a few pictures and then they just collect their paycheck, and that's it. And it's a waste of time. So I'd rather keep it with like some hardworking peeps.
Yeah, I think even like the way that you do it, where you kind of vlog it. I mean, if it's proof that you're there. It's you're going up to people all the time. If you have that official backing, it's even more prominent. I mean, so I like to see something like that happen, just because it's people talking about the project out of their own free will every single day or every couple of days, whatever it is. But it's just more hands on deck that can help spread the word. I mean, they got a limited number on their team, and they can only do so much, and they can only be so many places. I like that you mentioned when they can't get somewhere, have these people go out and do that work for them. So hands on deck everywhere. And the best part is the project's worldwide. There's people in London we saw. There's people in Australia we know about, and there's people all over the place. So you can have representation every single place. And this is the last question. I know that we've talked about a lot about what might be coming. So maybe not VeVe related, could be VeVe related, whatever you like, however you like to answer the question. But what are you most excited for in this Web3 metaverse, VeVe verse, whatever space? What makes you like you're smiling right now? I know you're thinking of something. What makes you so excited that it's coming, and like what are you excited to see as a mainstream in Web3? Like what excites you?
I'm excited for really talented teenagers to be able to make it easier on their parents and on themselves. That I've seen some beautiful buildings and stuff in Minecraft. I'm not good at Minecraft. I'm not good at, a lot of these games. I've never won a game of Fortnite, but I'm like, so if I have multiple plots of land in the VeVeverse, and I've done this with Earth 2, where I have a whole mega city down on Earth 2, and I have a whole, everything down there. There's these things called hollow buildings that I am not good at building. I don't know how to build, so I'll pay other people to build them. The same thing as I have different plots of land in the VeVe, where it's like, hey, make this theme, make this. And anyone that's probably played Animal Crossing, or anyone that's probably really good at Minecraft, they can probably do that. And it doesn't matter how, you don't need to be a 30 40-year-old experience, whatever. You could be 12, 16 years old, and for maybe it's a little bit of kind of showing where I come from, and like parents saying you'll never make money with that, you'll never amount to anything if you keep doing that. This is a chance right there to kind of give parents, the older generation, a lesson, saying, hey, you could actually make money with this. There's other people making money with this. And even if it's not like that, even if it's where the kids just having fun and they make money, it's like, and then they can buy their mom a gift for like Mother's Day they weren't expecting. It's like, hey, I took care of your car payment this month, or something like that. Like that's one of the, I'm super excited about moving classes, about being able to say like, hey, I can't afford college, I don't have any discernible skills, but I have this, and if I can work at it and I can keep doing it. Like, one of the reasons why I still don't have a computer is just to kind of help people say, I got partnered on YouTube with just a phone. I didn't have a special mic, I didn't have a special computer, all this equipment. I did it with just my phone. So I think that type of message, saying that it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you just have an internet connection, you can have an impact, and you can make money, and you can make your way. That's
cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, we know that we might see the beginnings of the VeVeverse coming before the end of the year. Hopefully, people are expecting it, and that might be able to show off your showroom. Like you might be able to send me a QR code or a link or something. I can go walk in your showroom. So that's going to be the beginning of the flexing of your collections. I really like the idea of letting someone have access to your collection to build something there, and then you could show that off to your friends, because that's marketing in itself. You're gonna bring people into the app, because you're gonna be like, oh, check this out, and you throw it up in AR, and it's like this entire jungle or universe, whatever it is. And the stuff on Minecraft, like you mentioned, is incredible. You would never think that people could do that. And like you said, a lot of the time is the young generation that has these explosive imaginations that are able to come up with these ideas. So I'm with you. I mean, that's awesome. And if they can make a living off of it, or even any kind of money, I mean, that's without having to buy and sell collectibles on the app. It's almost like it's a no-brainer. I mean, that's really, really fun.
Yeah, I mean that's art, and that's agreement of two consenting people saying like, hey, I don't have the time for this. Let's say I have like 500 collectibles, most of which are Alligator Lokis, but I have a couple of people that I know that have 1,500 collectibles, and they're busy working their businesses or full-time jobs, whatever. They don't have time to build something, but other people do. They have nothing but time, and that's cultivating that creativity of their childlike, not childish, but childlike, wonder and then creativity. That's what's gonna have some really awesome things, like this competition that VeVe's doing.
You could pay one of these guys right now, and they just could recreate this for you. Based off your current collection, right? So guys, I think that's it for today. Randy, I got to give you a standing ovation for coming through and filling in for Rob. So thank you very much. If I had flowers, I'd throw them, but I don't have any available. Maybe next time. Thank you, Dashi, for showing up and holding down the fort. I know he's been your security for the longest time here. So it's been awesome, guys. If you haven't already, please go subscribe to our friend Randy, and help him grow his channel as well and spread the word. I mean, he's doing it as best he can on his own, but with you guys all following, it'll push the YouTube algorithms. And that's what we want. We want this project to grow. Everybody wants VeVe to do well, OMI to do well. And the best way to do that is by spreading the word. So again, thank you, Randy, for coming. And if you guys want, you can also become a superstar. Hit that subscribe button down below. Hit the bell notification. You can also become a VIP, get first dibs on merch, and all fun stuff like that. And again, we will see you tomorrow with another guest. I love you. Bye.